What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Soft Cell, and we're returning to the 2002 album Cruelty Without Beauty. Thank you again to Kim for providing this, and also for mentioning to me that there is a notable video for the Darker Times song, so the next time I do a batch of video reactions, that should be in there. And the next tune on this album is Monoculture. It's a word that actually has a very specific meaning in agriculture. I doubt that will be relevant. More broadly, it means a society and culture that is singularly focused in a normative sense on a particular set of values, mores, prescriptions, and archetypes, and thus lacks diversity. It is not pluralistic. It is singular in its attitude about what is right, what is good, what is desirable, and thus it's a rigid society, a rigid culture that lacks a wide assortment of views and attitudes. So yes, I feel like this is perhaps, just as with Darker Times, pertinent to the current moment. We'll see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Soft Cell, the track is Monoculture, and it's from the 2002 album Cruelty Without Beauty.
Monoculture, mediocre, monoculture, mediocre. Over and over and over, again and again and again. Monoculture, over and over and over, again and again and again. Monoculture, no change. The world's gone insane. Monoculture, everything that's old is new again. Monoculture.
Brilliant. That's 2 for 2. This album is clearly going to be an instant favorite for me. So, okay, Sonics first. We have this driving, pulse pounding beat. I do like how in the verses it gets very stripped down. It's like just the kick drum and that gurgly, somewhat acidic bass line, and there's these little squiggles on top of that. We have that violin riff as well as almost like a horror movie type like soundtrack. I don't even know what you call it, like Sting, sort of like that tension kind of moment. So that was a really notable feature. I enjoy more than anything that little bleepy melody, that boop, 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 that little recurrent melody. That's my favorite part, I think, sonically. I enjoy how I'm not sure if it's actually the chorus itself or maybe the pre-chorus, it gets this like chant style intensity with the vocals, and I do wonder, the secondary vocal here, is that Dave? I don't know his voice as well as, or as easily as I recognize Mark's voice, but I do wonder whether that was Dave. I'm assuming that's the case. But yes, in the chorus, or maybe pre-chorus, that chant-like melody seems to articulate the same theme. I mean, we have lines about everything's gray, which is to say there's no distinguishable colors. Everything is just washed in the same lack of color. And then he again is making reference to, everything's the same. There's no distinction. So it's like, it feels like an external assessment, but also internal. Like he's saying, like he's succumbing to this monoculture and he's losing that vitality that diversity provides. Because again, if all you have is the same perspectives again and again and again, it's hard to know when you're wrong. It's hard to know when you're not seeing things as they are, because everything's a mantra. Everything is pre-prescribed. All the normative values are set, and there's no room for questioning that. And so it feels like he's worried about maybe succumbing to that. And again, there's this sense of the passage of time, which feels like a little meta. What was the line? Something about like my like elaborate or something gestures aren't desirable anymore, or something to that effect. So it sounds like he's actually like, the things that I've sung about, is the way that I sing or the music that we make, is this still something that resonates now? Like maybe it resonated before, but is everybody just falling in line with this conformity now, and maybe it doesn't have the same impact that it used to? So yes, it feels like some of the sonics and vocals are articulating themes of the song. I love his voice on the track, meaning Mark. Again, I do wonder about the secondary vocal, but Mark's lead vocal, it just has all that charisma that I've come to enjoy from his vocal performances. And yeah, as I said, I love the evolved sound. It's still synth driven, but it has more of a like underground dance feel than a lot of their stuff from a couple decades before this. So yeah, bottom line, 2 for 2, absolutely loving this album, and I'm thinking this will continue. As I said, the next time I do video reactions, I'm going to try to do a reaction to Darker Times. And yes, again, as someone who was listening to a lot of underground dance music at the time, it feels like that's a notable flavor of this, even if it's also pop music and synth pop in a vein of continuity from their earlier work. So yes, really great track. Let me know what you think of it, and I will see you next time. Peace.